Hey guys, Midget here. I'm going to be doing another video. This is on my gas blowbacks. I'm going to be discussing building gas blowback rifles. In my opinion, building a gas blowback rifle is one of the best options, or one of the best type of guns to build. Over like an AEG. Because there's a lot less work that goes into these. AEGs, I hear, people say all the time, oh, they're plug and play, that stuff. Well, if you build one internally, it's a little bit harder because, these gearboxes are a lot more complicated. Let's say, like I did with my gun. I built my gun externally and I bought a VFC gearbox and popped it right on in. It's still a custom built gun, but I didn't custom build the internals. I've taken it apart like 3 times. Twice I greased it up with my Teflon grease and silicone grease. I've greased it up. I made sure the compression was good, the shimming was good, the AOE was good, and I had one of the shims I added to the sector gear. Other than that, I haven't done anything, so it's kind of a pretty stock gun. But there are lots of people out there that want to completely custom build internals with guns, with AEGs. So, swapping out gears, like, let's say you just buy a stock Classic Army like this, and then you go put a, SHS piston in there, SHS M120, SHS M120 spring. Doesn't really matter what company, but a high-speed gear set like a 16-to-1, 13-to-1, 12-to-1, 10-to-1, or a DSG. Dual sector gear, and putting a bunch of stuff internal inside of your gun, an AEG gearbox. I try to build an AEG gearbox complete. I replaced the gears, almost everything except for the shell, the cylinder head. That is the only thing that I kept stock. And the spring guide. Everything else I replaced. Now, it wasn't going so well, so I gave it to a friend, but it's been lost in the process, so, he doesn't even know who has it, because he gave it to somebody on an airsoft team to give to a guy that works at a local airsoft shop to fix it. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it back unfixed, and I'm going to sell it. I'm just going to sell it as is and have somebody fix it. Now, there are a few friends that, actually, the guy that owns this gun, his gearbox this is kind of jacked up. So it only functions on full auto, which isn't too big of a deal. But now I have to deal with these holes on the bottom. The grip screw holes are actually stripped. So I think I'm going to have to get one of those, tightening nuts and actually put it in here and then drive the screw through those, whatever you want to call them. They have threads on them. I'm probably going to have to take it apart and do that. Which really ticks me off, because I already got this thing together, I greased it up, it's functioning nicely, yeah, so I was thinking about selling that gearbox that I was building to him, and, fixing it for him, but I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, and I bought a VFC gearbox, like I said, for my gun. It's all shimmed right, it's all working right. The only thing I plan on doing with that gun is putting a MOSFET in it, after I filled it once or twice, because I know my trigger contacts are going to get burnt. Well, the MOSFET I'm throwing in there is one that has SHS contacts, and it's wired to DINs, wired to the back. It's just a drop-in. You don't have to modify anything, so I'm going to do that. Other than that, I probably won't replace anything unless something breaks. I was thinking about throwing an M110 in there to get a little bit higher FPS, but I don't think I'll do that unless I put a better piston in there, because a VFC piston shooting at 25 rounds a second, consistent 25 rounds a second, is not going to put up very well with heavier spring. So, anyways, back to gas blowbacks. Building them is a lot easier in my opinion. So, there's 3 different things you can do. You can buy a gas blowback rifle like this, just anyone, and not do any work on it. No, don't change any externals. You just leave it bone stock. That's what this gun is. This gun is my WeTech ACR. Haven't done anything externally. I feel like the ACR is a little bit of a heavy gun, even though the frame is plastic. For some reason, this is a heavy gun. So, and also, that's not the only reason, but also, optics are expensive, things are expensive, so it's not like I have the money to throw anything I want on here. I don't, but I do like it like this. So, I'm going to keep it like this probably forever. No big deal. I like it like this. These sights are stock with it, but I love these Troy sights replicas. Internally, all I have is a shorter barrel. One, to bring down my FPS a little bit, and two, my stock one was a lemon. So other than that, and also I added a spring on the back of the buffer here. So other than that, it's stock. I have a spare nozzle for it. So this is one build you can do, or one type of thing, which isn't even a build. It's just buying a gun and just keeping it the way it is, which you don't see that very often nowadays. I don't. Sorry, I'm like getting ahead of myself and talking too fast. I don't see people with like a standard M4 with the carrying handle, the triangle sight, and like the original handguard. I don't see that very often at all. I really don't. Most of the time, it's like this right here is a Echo 1 CQBR. It's got flip-up sights. It's got a Daniel Defense Omega rail. It's got a grip. He has a silencer for it and a barrel extension. So extension right here. So it's a CQBR, but he has an extension here. But he also has a silencer, which acts as a amplifier. Also, he's swapping out the hop-up for this. But this is like something that you'd see out on the field, something customized. So then I'm going to go into this, which this gun you kind of buy and you just do external work. So it's not technically a build. In a way, it is a build. It's not like you're starting from the ground up, building a gun. You buy a gun and you build the externals. You can throw internals in it as well, but you're buying a gun like a whole gun. It's not like you're buying a part, putting it together. So in a way, it is a build. Now, I did that with that gun. I bought it used for $150, which I feel like was an amazing deal. But now I'm kind of like, well, that wasn't too amazing. I don't know. What do you guys think? It was basically this, minus the front sight, minus the flash hider, minus the RVG. I got that for $150, and it came with one crappy mag. I don't know. I ended up replacing the bolt carrier with a new one. It is still stock WeTech, but my old one was just dead old. It was ridiculous. Replaced the hop-up, the bucking, the trigger box. I got an open bolt kit and replaced those things. IR hopped it, so I'm getting pretty good accuracy and range. And when I bought it, it came with an Angel custom barrel, which needed modification to work properly. And the person that sent it to me wasn't smart enough to know that the bucking was ripped, but also the hop-up was not very good. The guy was like, oh, I couldn't shoot it outside, you know, for a very long distance. And I'm like, at like 80 feet, if you shoot something at 80 feet, you can tell it's very inconsistent. But I ended up doing stuff to it. I mean, you don't know how many idiots I've encountered in airsoft, like sellers and stuff, that just all sellers, they're different, and they just, I don't know. I don't like buying stuff used very often, but it's a really good option. So, this is probably the most common type of thing. You know, you go out, you spend $280 for a WeTech PDW, and then you build the externals, throw whatever inside you want. I recommend just buying a, WeTech rifle and using it until it breaks. The only part I would replace out of the box is possibly your bucking, which I would replace with a maple leaf. I hear really, really good things about them. I haven't had one to try it out. Also, I'm thinking about throwing a red dot on this. I was thinking about a T1, a black T1, or one of those Matrix tactical, like, little red dots. I was thinking about it, but I don't know. That's like $40, so actually the one's like 30, almost 30, I think. And then there's this type of gun, which you can build off from the ground up. This was from the ground up. This gun, I started with the trigger box, and I wanted a WeTech M4 or an M16, and I took it out of my old PDW, so I built it from the trigger box. So this gun came from the trigger box. I bought a lot of parts from one guy. I got like the stock, I got the upper, the lower, the rail, the outer barrel, the inner barrel, the hop-up. The grip, I got a lot of it from one guy, but there were things like charging handle, selector switch, some parts for the trigger box. I had to buy aftermarket. Now, this gun is not complete. I am ordering a pistol grip, a new pistol grip for it. It's a Element Ergo grip, like it's ergonomic. It has like thumb holes, or not thumb holes, but like finger groove, whatever you want to call that. Can't really think of the exact word. I actually have a friend that has one on his WeTech, I guess you could say GBBR. It's a really short barrel. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. It might be the 10.5 or something. But he had it on there, and I felt it, and it just felt like it just conformed to your hand. So I'm ordering that. It's like $9. I already have the money for it and everything, and my brother's going to make the order. So I want him to order like tomorrow, so that possibly this stuff can come while he's here for spring break. Hopefully they'll get everything out to us within 2 weeks, but it's from China, so could be a month. So yeah, those are the different type of builds. As far as the difference between gas blowback and AEG, there's no mech box to open, there's no shimming, there's none of that. You just drop a trigger box into there. You can buy an RN-Tech. The parts, it's just simple, and it acts like a real gun. I mean, your hammer flies forward, it hits a firing pin. Yeah, I know the firing pin's not in the bolt like the real one. It's actually in the trigger box. It's like a knocker, they call it, or firing pin. So, you know, it's basically the same thing. Whereas with AEGs, there's, you know, motor spinning. You have to make sure the motor's aligned. You have to make sure it's shimmed right, AOE corrected, like all these things. With the gas blowback, I mean, it's not necessarily plug and play, but there's no, like, most of the time there's no modifications. Now, if you want real gun parts, you have to do modifications unless you get a WeTech. A WeTech M4, the upper has real threads, this is a real rail, and the lower has real buffer tube threads. So I recommend going with a WeTech because, I mean, you can buy real gun parts for them. The charging handle, little modification to fix, or to fit a real one, things like that. It makes, you know, gas blowbacks kind of better to build, in my opinion. Now, you know, I don't know, you could, you know, just buy like a VFC M4 just off the shelf and do everything externally you want and keep the internal stock and still consider that a custom build, but it's not special. It's not from the ground up, which people can do from ground up builds with AEGs, but like I said, it's a little bit harder, and it's more expensive, really, because if you buy all these parts separately, your shell, your cylinder, it gets really, really expensive. You can spend like $200 on a gearbox of a good functioning gearbox without a motor. That's, you know, good gears like SHS gears, SHS everything, except I don't think SHS makes a gearbox shell. Maybe they do, but like SHS has good priced stuff and they're high quality. So like if you just completely did SHS, you'd probably still be at a $200 point. Maybe with a cheap motor, with like a stock VFC or a stock Echo 1. Like in mine, I'm using the stock Echo 1 balance motor, and it's getting me pretty good response, pretty good rate of fire. I mean, 25 rounds a second with a 10.8. It's pretty dang good, but with the MOSFET, I hope it's a little bit more consistent, because as you know, when batteries start to die, it goes down. So what I hope that my the MOSFET does is kind of brings it up. I've been told it should bring it up about 2 rounds a second. So if it brings it up at 2 rounds a second, that's good in my opinion. So it'll stay a little bit higher even when the battery starts to die. So yeah, I will probably make another video on that. I think I uploaded a shooting test. I'm buying new bucking. It's a Lone X bucking. I'm going to pop that in there so I can get better consistency with my AEG. The VSC AEG. Other than that, I think I'm going to keep it stock. If the gears break, I'm going to buy some SHS 1 to 13s. Now, if I do that, I'm going to have to get an M120 spring. Now, because of premature engagement. Or I can get 16 to 1 gears and keep the stock spring. But I think I want 13 to 1s with a heavier spring. But once I do that, I shouldn't have any issues, and I'm not going to be blazing on full auto. I don't do a whole lot of speed software like you just run around and just unload. That gun is mainly for semi-automatic because of the trigger response. Anyways, I'm getting so off topic. I love to talk. But anyways, yeah, this is, you know, a build from the ground up. You know, a build just pulling the gun out of the box and building it however you like it, which is the most common. And then there's this, which is just flat pulling it out of the box and using it. Which this is most common, really it is. which a lot of people I know do builds like this. They'll build their stuff from the ground up. But I don't know. There are a few people that new beginners in airsoft that I know that kind of just like a friend. He has a FAMAS. I think it's like OEM by Cymer or something. It functions really, really well. But he's done, actually I think he put a grip on it. But other than that, he's done nothing. Like it's just black. Which there's not really a whole lot of things you can do to the FAMAS. But anyways, off topic. So I do recommend buying a gas bullet rifle. If you're having issues with it, just comment. I should be able to help you. I can do like a video response or whatnot. Maybe not a video response, but I'll post one on my channel if you need help with something. And I, am better at explaining it on video. So stay tuned for more videos, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I love doing these airsoft videos. Tell me what you think. I've got a better camera. Backdrop's not too bad, but I'm not going to be doing editing. I don't have the time to do that. And also, I don't think I have the skill to do that. I'm not very good with computers. So, yeah, stay tuned for more videos, guys. I hope you like my gun.